Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's Marketplace Customer Office Hours. We're super excited to be here in the Azure community, and we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Justin Royal, and I am the Marketplace Community Lead. I've been doing these office hours over in the Marketplace community for a couple months now, and we're super excited to be carrying the series over to the Azure community. Today is the Marketplace Customer Office Hour, and this is a monthly offering that we have for Marketplace customers. Today's session, I have my coworker, Kristen Maddox here. Kristen is a director of product marketing for the Marketplace. So Kristen will be guiding us through a session on FinOps and the Microsoft Marketplace today. Kristen, before we get started, why don't you just tell newcomers a little bit about yourself and about your role on the team?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I I support all things product marketing for Marketplace. So if you see content out there about how we talk about Marketplace, how we position it, I probably had a hand in it. I have been a frequent on the customer office hours for the past year, but super excited to have this moving over to the Azure community. I think this is the right place to be. But yeah, I support all things Marketplace.
Great. Thanks, Kristen. So again, today's topic is on FinOps in the Marketplace. FinOps is a pretty niche topic. Can you just give a brief overview before we get started on what FinOps is and how that's related to the Marketplace?
Yeah, it's something that I have learned a lot over the last year or so. And, I think way back in the day, there was this thing called application lifecycle management, which merged into DevOps. And as cloud budgets have ballooned to be such a big line item in any company's portfolio, there is now this another sector coming up that's called FinOps. And that's really looking at the management of cloud investments from both a performance perspective and a cost perspective. And as I continue to learn more about the FinOps community, I see so many synergies with how the Marketplace can be a tool to support FinOps practitioners. And the other thing that I have seen just naturally, and what kind of initially caught my attention, is in our case studies that we do with the Marketplace, I noticed a lot of times we'd have FinOps people talking to us as part of our interviews on the success and whatnot. So that sort of piqued my interest. And then within Microsoft, we have people that are super involved with FinOps. So I connected with them and we have validated and like we definitely think the Marketplace is a platform and tool that can support the needs across FinOps practitioners.
Great. Thanks for the context. So I know there's actually a FinOps conference, and you went to the one, I think it was a month or two ago. Could you talk a little bit about the conference and what it was like, what you learned from the conference?
Yeah, if you would have told me, 10 years ago that I would be speaking at a FinOps conference, I would have said that is absolutely insane. There's no way that would ever happen, but I was there and I was a speaker. And it was so interesting. I, have been to these conferences, Build, Ignite, that are kind of big topic, lots of things covered. And here it's niche. It's like FinOps, like how do you drive performance? How do you allocate costs? And it was very hands-on, and the people that were there were all extremely deep in their topic areas and had really great questions. And I was super impressed by it. And I think that, while I actually was watching a different session from a different event just a week ago or so, and FinOps came up as one of the fastest growing job titles out there right now. But I think beyond just like someone that has a title of FinOps practitioner or FinOps lead or whatever that is, the core principles of FinOps is driving more optimization out of your cloud portfolio, which, any of our Marketplace customers are looking to do. So, FinOps conference was super interesting for me. I'm hoping I go back next year. And I think as this community grows and creates this framework for how to think about this management across all your cloud investments, it's going to be something that anyone who is touching, purchases of SaaS, agent, AI, etc. Solutions is going to have some benefit from.
Great. Sounds like an awesome event. Thanks for the context. So let's go on and start with the content for today's session on FinOps in the marketplace. And for those of you who are watching live, please submit your questions to the chat. We will definitely have time for Q&A. If you are watching this after the event takes place, you will be able to access on demand through the tech community. So definitely submit your questions. We will have time to answer. So let's go ahead and get started.
Okay. Great. So I see my slides up. So perfect. This is a subset of what I presented at the conference with just some modifications. So, how I'll use this time is I'll talk a little bit more about cloud marketplace and the value from a FinOps perspective. The FinOps Foundation has a very strict framework that they follow, and I've mapped that FinOps framework to our marketplace, and we'll show some scenarios of how the marketplace supports that framework. And then we will go through the Microsoft Marketplace, the value for you, and some very tangible next steps that will meet you where you are, whether you're new in the journey or already a very mature Azure Marketplace customer and just looking for more optimization. So to get started, we all feel this pressure, and I think this is part of the reason that FinOps will continue to grow pretty exponentially, is that as we transition to being very AI centric, this is creating new challenges. There's this FOMO that everyone feels of they don't want to miss out. They need to get the agents, AI infused apps, the models running, whatever it may be, to stay ahead. But they also, can't blow their budget and buy everything that they see ever. So there's this tension that everyone is feeling of, time to market versus time to value. And then within that, do you buy outright your solutions, or are you going to build in-house? How do you think about the data to infuse that, to give it the context, make it intelligent while not sacrificing security, of course, and then responding to competitive pressures you might feel now versus future-proofing yourself for, 12 months from now, 3 years from now, whatever that may be. And what we sort of see is that there's all this explosion of growth, and cloud marketplaces are playing a natural solution to some of these challenges. And what I find super interesting is, of course, cloud continues to grow, and that is a fairly mature business at this point. Well, not fairly, it is a mature business. But cloud marketplaces are still relatively new. Like I've been in a dedicated marketplace role for about 6 years now. And I always say, well, I get to count it in dog years, because that's whatever, 42 years in dog years or whatever. So cloud marketplaces are still new. So the growth of cloud marketplaces is 4x the size of cloud. And that is partially because more and more customers are seeing the benefit of using the marketplace to give that holistic pane of their investments, to turn things on and off, and to manage, rather than managing, discrete subscriptions, discrete vendors, and all that. And for us, how we really think about the marketplace is that it's an extension of the Microsoft cloud. So, we are full stack, from anything from your infra solutions to your agents to other niche productivity tools. The marketplace is an extension of the Microsoft cloud. So we build We always pride ourselves in being a platform company. So we're the platform, you bring the innovation. And the marketplace has really turned into the center of gravity for how we go to market with our partners. So, we have our first party tools. We ask our partners to build off those, to make solutions that complement, to fill gaps, to solve your business needs, customers. And then how we go to market together is through the marketplace. So there's just such a breadth of solutions here that solve, virtually any technology need. And just to make this feel a little more real, this slide is just a very small sampling of some of the solutions that we have, but you can see kind of across so many different categories, from infra to more niche line of business industry applications. There is a gamut. So we have our catalog just growing year over year because we continue to make the marketplace the place to go to market with our partners. This creates a lot of efficiency for our customers, that you can shop in a single place, but it's beyond just having the single catalog. It's knowing that these solutions are vetted by Microsoft and that they're published by Microsoft partners. So you're having some trust there that you're not putting some malware into your system, because Microsoft has already vetted these solutions. And some of the real magic of the marketplace comes in when you think about it as an extension of your Azure strategy. So, we have 95% of the Fortune 500 using Azure. Most of them are marketplace customers. And, with Azure, I was watching a session from our CVP of AI engineering the other day, and talking about some of the AI tools we had. And in a nutshell, what she kind of said is the magic of our AI stack is that it's already in your tenant. You just have to adopt it. And so you're really, with your Azure strategy, you're using an AI ready platform, and that then follows through to all the solutions that are in our catalog. And then you're also getting an integrated platform, like from that slide I said earlier, across all those categories. You have the capability to manage your full tech stack. And of course, there's trust. Microsoft we are a trusted cloud. We take security very seriously, and a lot of those security promises that we have for our Azure portfolio extend within the marketplace, remembering that the spirit of the marketplace is an extension of the Microsoft cloud, and that includes Azure. And then with the marketplace specifically, what some of those value pillars really translate to is that increased efficiency of that shopping in one pane, that buying with confidence that you are buying from Microsoft and not dozens, hundreds, thousands of unique software vendors. And you can spend smarter. And that comes with some of the optimization tools that you can do with making sure that your cloud is running. You're getting the most out of your performance, and therefore you're getting the most out of your costs. So this slide is me attempting to take our value prop and how we think about the marketplace and mapping it to the FinOps framework. So I'm not sure. I'm sure that many have not gone deep on the FinOps framework, but I would highly recommend going to the FinOps Foundation and really reviewing their framework, because I think even if you're not in a FinOps practitioner role, they give really great guidance that they're working to make industry standard on how to think about managing cloud. So they have these scenarios of understanding cost and usage, quantifying business value, and optimizing usage and costs. And then underneath that, a horizontal of managing the FinOps practice. And when I think about the marketplace value and its functionality and what it offers, we map to a lot. So those value pillars of increase efficiency, buy with confidence, and spend smarter, it covers a large spread of this framework. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into each of these unique scenarios and show some of the scenarios that the FinOps community gives guidance on how we should think about that, and then back that into the marketplace functionality that we have that supports. So starting with understanding cost and usage. So the FinOps capabilities that they say you need to have to do this is data ingestion, allocation, and reporting and analytics. And with the marketplace, what you're getting is you have standardized data sets. So there is already so much prerequisite for how to think about your managing your Azure resources that you can simplify how you're looking across that data. There is tons of APIs and other allocation tools. So as you look at needing to separate out your costs against different departments or different resources or whatever it may be, there's built-in functionality and ability to connect APIs so they can do it automatically. And then, of course, we have tons of data visualization tools and cost modeling tools to help you make the most out of your portfolio. And what I want to highlight here is Microsoft Cost Management. So again, remembering that the marketplace is an extension of the Microsoft Cloud, a lot of the tools and the benefits that you might think of as Azure benefits, or you might not attribute to the marketplace plays a role. So Microsoft Cost Management is a great example where all of your Azure portfolio is centralized into Microsoft Cost Management, and you can really do some nitty-gritty breakdowns and some, what if scenarios to help you manage your investments. Of course, there is a co-pilot within cost management, and this is in pilot because it's new and everyone's moving fast. But this is where you can, do summations, look at comparisons, look at usage, so you can really you can know that you've got so many subscriptions on the table that aren't being actively used. You can cut those out. And then all of this data can get exported into a focus format. So focus is, I cannot remember what the acronym stands for, but it is something where all the major cloud providers have bought in to unify a tagging strategy so that when you take all of your investments at a workload level and you try to connect it to your larger accounting systems, that you have unification on how you talk about a VM or whatever that resource may be. So really interesting tool, and something I'm super happy that Microsoft participates in. Thank you, FinOps Open Cost and Usage Specification. I don't know why that didn't just roll off the tongue, but that is it's a very, very interesting tool. And then everything that flows into Azure Cost Management will align to that focus framework. Okay, moving on to domain number 2 of quantifying business value. For FinOps capabilities perspective, it's about planning and estimating, budgeting, and forecasting. And for your Azure and Marketplace value, I really like this term that FinOps uses. They call it Cloud Plus. So it's your cloud investments plus your SaaS, your VMs, your infra, your AI, whatever. So your whole stack. So it's giving you that centralized view of everything that's coming in, And you can then be forecasting out to know, like, okay, you've got more budget available. This happens at Microsoft all the time where we have seasonality in our budgets. We can look ahead and say, like, okay, you know what? We typically spend more budget in Q2. We're going to stack these costs here. And that can all connect to your cost modeling so that you can align to your budget seasonality. And then, of course, we'll talk about this more as we go through this presentation. If you have a cloud consumption commitment, you can be very strategic in how you're planning that commitment and using your cloud consumption commitment to help you earn discounts on your Azure infrastructure, which is a huge win-win. So the what I'm going to highlight here is the Azure Consumption Commitment. So we are very proud at Microsoft that we offer 100% match. So what that means is when you buy an Azure benefit eligible solution, we match that cost against your commitment dollar for dollar with no limit. So this helps you de-risk your Azure consumption commitment and gives you the ability to, buy what you were going to buy anyway, but make those funds work a little bit harder so that they can count towards this commitment so that you can earn those discounts on your Azure investments. Most of our customers that have an Azure consumption commitment are active users of the marketplace. Like they're not just buying one solution and calling it done. They are using it to manage their full stack. And we are on year 3 of tightly aligning for the partners, we call this Azure IP co-sell. It's aligning that Azure IP co-sell one-to-one with the commitment. So the portfolio of solutions that are eligible to count towards a commitment continue to grow. There's 3,500 plus, and that's an annualized increase of 30% since last year, and this will just continue to climb. I think the natural question that comes out from the MACC discussion is like, well, how do I find these solutions? And it's pretty easy. You can shop yourself. So once you're in Azure, there's a little tab at the top that says Azure benefit eligible. You click that, and all the ones that are Azure benefit eligible will surface. And then, of course, there's tons of filtering and other ways to narrow that down. If you have a Microsoft account rep, you can get the list. So you can just email them and say, like, hey, can you drop me the list? Of course, it will be date stamped, but they can send you that list, or you can send us the list. Sometimes, customers want to keep that private, but if you want your account team to help you with some strategic planning of what would make sense, what's the one-to-one match, where do we have a solution that does the same thing but isn't the same vendor, we can help you with some of that planning. But we're also very excited to have a customer-facing MACC matching tool that will come online soon, where this is where you can, in a secure environment, say, hey, this is my list. We'll match it back or give some lookalike type options, and then you can manage your portfolio planning from there. Okay, domain 3, FinOps capability. Architecture for cloud, licensing and SaaS, and rate optimization are the capabilities that FinOps talks about as being key for this scenario. Where Azure and Marketplace play is that we have enterprise-ready architecture. It is pre-configured and ready to customize to how you need to design your Azure tenant. And with everything getting centralized in Azure, you have super click to scale. So you can scale up or scale down super easily. And from a rate optimization standpoint, we have private offers and lots of opportunities for you to negotiate to help get the most out of your investments. So what I'm highlighting here is our private offers. So one of the things, if you've ever seen me give a session or before, you might have heard me say this line, that what I love about the marketplace is it adapts to how our partners want to sell and how our customers want to buy. So there's often this misconception that the marketplace is a software vending machine that you just click to buy and off you go, similar to the app store that would be on your phone. But we understand that enterprise software is hard, and not all software is built the same, and you're going to have very different investments based on what your baseline security solutions are versus the niche AI solution that you're trying to test and see if it's a fit for your organization. So how you can manage some of these negotiations and support to make sure you're getting the best deal is through private offers. And within private offers, you as the customer have a ton of ability to work with your software vendor to, dictate how you want that ran. So we offer things like flexible billing. So again, accounting cycles are not always unique. Sometimes you need to spend more money in one month, less in another. Sometimes, we very often see if a customer is trying to de-risk a MACC, they'll do an upfront payment to fulfill that MACC. So you can design your payment structure in a way that works for you. And that flexible billing offers 70 plus different contract constructs that you can work with. You can standardize your T's and C's. So we often talk about terms and conditions from a partner perspective and a benefit for them, but I'm really flipping that it can be a customer benefit too. We were working with a customer a while ago. They were on calendar year, so it was holiday, and they had hundreds of renewals coming up. And some of them they wanted to put through Marketplace. Some were already in Marketplace, and they were very stressed about how to review all of these unique terms and conditions across all of these vendors within their time frame that they had. And I said, why don't you standardize it? You can, Microsoft has one that you can adopt, or you can use your own. And of course, there's going to be amendments based on the product and all that, but you can pick a format. You can have amendments that are pre-baked for your software vendors to choose from, and that can help your processing time tremendously. And this is one benefit that we've seen some of our biggest marketplace customers adopt, and have them tell us that it's been a huge time savings for them as they review all of these unique contracts. And then multi-year contracts. So you can, increase your negotiation power with having contracts that go up to 5 years. So for that baseline security solution that you just know you're going to need, you can say, you know what, I want to commit to this for 5 years, and I'm going to pay once a year. That's great benefit for that software provider, and that helps you with that negotiating power to make sure you're getting the best deal. And then, of course, with private offers, any software you're buying that is Azure benefit eligible, that will count towards your purchase. Okay, last domain, managing your FinOps practice. So here they talk about policy and governance, invoicing and chargebacks, and workload optimizations. And from an Azure and Marketplace value, from a policy and governance standpoint, the Marketplace, again, thinking about it as an extension of Azure, it follows your Azure role-based controls. So it really helps from that permission level to make sure that you've got the right people pressing the right keys. You're also getting standardized processes where, Microsoft has ways to handle refunds, we have support. You're funneling your contracts through Microsoft, where we have got systems in place to help safeguard you. And we have tons of tooling to support, your cloud efficiency. So with your invoicing and chargebacks, there's ways within your Azure spend to do cost allocations and really get super, super granular in how you're thinking about all of your resources and making sure that you're getting the most of them. And what I'm going to highlight here is this focus on Azure role-based controls. Enterprise architecture has changed a lot over the last 20 years, and you can design this so that you can make sure that the right people are pressing the right keys aligned to your tenant. And this really helps with preventing shadow IT. There's also another level of ring fencing you can do by building a private Azure marketplace where you pre-select kind of your own mini marketplace that's just for you. And then your employees only have access to those. From a purchase perspective, they don't have access unless they have the right permissions. But this kind of helps focus and say, like, hey, this is your playground of things you can use. Do not go outside this. And then again, you have that confidence that all the vendors within our marketplace are validated by Microsoft, and they sign a publisher agreement that is online, available to see, that is a legal agreement on what they promise to commit to as part of being in our marketplace. And then there's also this tool, again, remembering Marketplace is an extension of Azure. There's this tool called Azure Advisor, and this is something that will extend to your marketplace investments and will help you with looking at different scenarios, not just from a cost perspective, but also a performance perspective, to make sure you're getting the most. So, it will scan everything that's in your tenant, and it will say, like, hey, all your security checks are good, but you could be doing more here. And it will give you, it will proactively give you recommendations on how to do more. Okay, so that was the framework for FinOps. So kind of a mouthful, but we'll round out and talk about the marketplace value for you and some of your next steps. So with the FinOps Foundation, they run a really big survey every year. And this survey, it's what's top of mind for people deep in FinOps. And the top two were workload optimization and waste reduction and full allocation of cloud spending. And both of these are areas where I'm hoping the 10, 15 minutes I was chatting before, you can really see how the marketplace can play a very central role in helping with those two scenarios. Another worthy call out is top of mind, managing SaaS spend up 65%, up 25%. And we talk about that a lot in the marketplace, of being a tool to help eliminate SaaS sprawl. And then managing AI spend, 96% in the next 12 months. It's 63% today, which doubled from 31% last year. So I think that the more that people lean into some of the FinOps best practices, the better equipped you will be as you continue to grow your AI portfolio. And for the marketplace, if you think about the Azure, our marketplace, and our Azure Consumption Commitment, those are the three key tools you manage, both from a performance perspective and a cost perspective. So that 100% match that I mentioned earlier is a huge benefit for us. We really encouraged our customers to take advantage of that and use that to help optimize costs, and then use all this tooling within Azure to make sure that you're getting the most out of your cloud performance. We're super proud of this logo slide. Customer adoption of the marketplace has really grown over the years. And in earlier days of the marketplace, it used to be really, huge organizations that were looking to manage their vendor stack. And those are still marketplace customers, and we're very happy to have them. We're thrilled. But what we're seeing is it's not just the big enterprises anymore. It's smaller startup, new up and coming companies, because the cloud permeates all aspects of pretty much any business. So many businesses are seeing the benefit of using Marketplace to help centralize and manage the all-up cloud portfolio. And, some recent case studies that we've done from people in the buying office, from Nationwide, RSA, Teleperformance, all these organizations have really successfully adopted the marketplace, and Nationwide attributes the marketplace to helping them stay on track with their forecast, and they believe that they are able to cut some of that overhead of purchasing and deployment because of the marketplace. RSA, yes, I see in the notes here, RSA, they've actually made it a policy that all their software has to go through the marketplace. And there's been some scenarios with this customer where software they wanted to buy was not on the marketplace, and we helped onboard that so they could maintain those relationships and keep their marketplace strategy to help them manage end to end. And then with Teleperformance, this is a very global company with a pretty complex Azure infrastructure, tenants all over the place, and they're really loving the marketplace to helping them simplify and manage at a global level and get to that get to consumption on usage, to know what they can turn on and turn off to help better manage their spend. Okay, so just a few more slides and we can go over to questions. But this slide is sort of your journey map for if you're, low Azure adoption to high Azure adoption, how you can think about what makes sense for you for the marketplace. So if you're not using a ton of Azure today, but you think like, okay, maybe the marketplace could work for me, what we suggest is test the waters with some trials or some low-cost licenses that are designed for pay-as-you-go to see how it works. And one of the huge benefits here is just because of everything being pre-integrated with Azure, you're getting so much faster time to value from the tools you buy. So, look at your dev team, say, hey, what tools do you need? And find something and then get them to deploy that through the marketplace versus outside the marketplace. And I am very confident that you'll see much faster time to value. We did a demo of this at Build, and everything is connected right within Visual Studio to your Azure tenant, that you're just really at a click to deploy rather than going to unique vendor sites, adopting the solution, configuring it to your tenant. It really does save a lot of time. So as you evaluate those benefits, consider getting on a contract. If you're a little bit more mature in your Azure adoption and want to see a little bit more from a portfolio management perspective, one of the tactics we like to recommend is look at your renewals. So if you have a contract coming up, let's use the security solution again as an example, and you bought it annually and it's up for renewal, maybe bring that over to Marketplace. There's benefit for the partners to bring business to the Marketplace, and this then gets you more contracts, more volume into your Azure portfolio, into your marketplace lens, to have some of those benefits that you can play with of the performance optimization tools and the cost management benefits, so that you can have just more volume to see some of the benefits. And if you are have an Azure Consumption Commitment, fill that Azure Consumption Commitment with a third-party tool. Shop that Azure benefit eligible list, and use your negotiation power to see if you can get some good pricing power with that vendor, and then fulfill that with your fulfill your MACC with that purchase. You're very much feeding two birds with one seed, that you've earned your Azure credits, and you've hopefully earned some discounts with that software vendor by securing a larger contract. And then the ultimate of what we are pushing for is strategically designing your next Azure contract with both your Azure portfolio and your holistic software portfolio in mind. So, if you have an account team, they can help you with this, or if you don't need one, you can certainly do it on your own. But look at your all up software portfolio and see what you can loop into Azure, and design your commitment for everything that's Azure benefit eligible and your Azure stack, so that you can really get the most out of those cost optimizations. So this is just a little bit different view with a little more fun to think about how you're going to start. So, as the FinOps practitioner, you're going to evaluate your contracts and your usage. You're going to work across your teams to get the right list of what you need, find those solutions that match, design your commitment, agree with the vendors on the services, and then procure, usually via private offers, and hopefully you're really seeing some of those benefits. And I think that's all my slides. So yes, I hope that this was beneficial for everyone here. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. I always love to hear feedback on does this content resonate? Was it good? Any feedback is a gift. And then I've left some key links here where you can learn more. So with that, Justin, any questions?
Yeah, we did have a few questions trickle in. Thank you, everybody, for contributing, and feel free to continue submitting questions if you haven't already. Going through a few of these. Question number one, what happens if we rely on channel partners or systems integrators to manage part of our portfolio?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I used that line earlier, that the marketplace adapts to how partners want to buy and how partners want to sell and how customers want to buy. And that includes the channel strategy for sure. So we have currently multi-party private offers, and there is more channel-led marketplace offerings coming. But if you have a channel partner who is managing a tenant on your behalf, I would make sure that they should be, but education is key. Make sure that they're aware of the marketplace and that MACC eligibility, and they can go procure on your behalf and help take out that overhead. We had that happen a lot with our multi-party private offers, where the system integrator is managing a super complex migration, and there's a super niche solution that's needed. So they go out and source that solution. They procure that through the marketplace on the customer's behalf. The customer gets the benefit of having that count towards their consumption commitment. And, it's a win-win-win. So channel partners are, super critical. And we know, especially as cloud portfolios get even more complex, customers are going to lean on their channel to help advise them. And the marketplace is continuing to make improvements to be a tool that channel partners can adopt to help service our customers.
Great. Thank you. Next question. Let's see. Are all marketplace solutions eligible to count towards an Azure Consumption Commitment?
Not all, but a very big majority. So we did go through some slides on that. From a customer perspective, they need to be tagged Azure benefit eligible. So, there's 3,500 plus. It's a pretty big catalog. It's continuing to grow. So look for that filter. And, on the partner side, it's being Azure IP co-sell eligible. So just remember Azure benefit eligible filter, but huge catalog there, continuing to grow.
Okay. And related question, how would I go about getting an Azure Consumption Commitment?
It's a good question. So if you have an account rep, talk to them. If you don't, use Azure support. So that would be your fastest way. We don't have like a magical sign up where you can just say, click, fill out a form and get a consumption commitment, because these are curated based on your business and there's negotiations on discounting and all sorts of things that are very much above my head. But if you don't have an account rep and you are interested, just use Azure support, tell them you're interested, and they'll route you to the right people to make that happen for you.
Great, thank you. And we do have a link on the screen for more information. You can visit this link, aka.ms/Azure Consumption Commitment, to learn more about that. Okay, moving on. Earlier in the presentation, you talked a bit about focus. Can you just do a double click on that and explain a little bit more about what it actually is?
Yeah, so it is, I'm actually just going to pull up the website really quick. So it's something that all of the cloud providers, I see my screen got shared. Hold on. This isn't it. FinOps Foundation. Okay, yeah. So I go to the FinOps Foundation a lot. And it's something that all of the cloud providers buy into. So from AWS, Google, Microsoft, and others, it creates a unified format for your billing data. So while we say that, IT budgets are big and it's a huge part of your all up accounting, et cetera, you still have other things that you buy. Like that's still like a reality in businesses. So what the focus framework does is it helps create a unified tagging strategy so that when you want to export this data to connect to your larger accounting system that, looks at non-tech spending, that you've got a way to keep this all in a super unified format. So like here's a really good example. What does a build cost mean? AWS, Azure, GCP, I'm not even sure who OCI is, but they all had different terms. What Focus does is it creates a unified tag so that we're all using the same tag for a build cost. So I find this super interesting. I think this is still relatively new. I think it was developed, I think this is year 3 of it being widely, like adopted by the FinOps community, saying like, hey, this is the path forward. There is some sessions on the FinOps Foundation about it, but I can see this, especially with AI and agents coming out. I can see this being something that becomes more front and center for how we think about our management and our allocation of costs. And you can see Fred here, who is our CVP on the engineering side for how the marketplace rolls up. He's quoted here on the front page, and it's you can get a certification. There's all sorts of things you can do. So it's a big deal, and it's super interesting.
Great, thanks for the overview on that. Any other questions? I do see one question that came in. It's a different topic, but because this is an office hour, I think we can address it. So this is actually from a partner, and the partner is asking about looking to increase the visibility and sales of their AI-powered training solutions through the marketplace. What strategies or support programs would you recommend for edtech startups aiming to expand commercially on the platform? Are there options for co-selling or joint marketing with Microsoft available for new partners?
Yeah. So a couple things. If you haven't already joined Marketplace Rewards, I would say use that. Marketplace Rewards is the programmatic way that we offer GTM support, and we're always doing tooling and improvements. Like Justin and I are actually working on a project right now where I'm super excited that we'll have more resources available. The other is just getting co-sell eligible. So there is, let me see if I can find that link and we can maybe put it in the chat. The steps for becoming Azure IP co-sell eligible are pretty straightforward. The biggest hurdle for any newcomer to Microsoft or the business is there is 100K trailing 12-month MBS, Marketplace Build Sales requirement. However, what I want to, it doesn't have to be Marketplace Build Sales. It can be Azure Consumed Revenue. So if you're a SaaS solution, which you probably are, and you're running on Azure and you have that 100K threshold, like that's usually the biggest hurdle. And that's really going to be what opens up a co-sell scenario. And because you're an education solution, channel would probably be important for you. And we also publish a list of partners every month that are active in channel selling. And it's Jason Rook, my colleague and good friend, updates that every month, and it's published, I forget what day, but somewhere near the start of the month. So I'd look for relationships there, and that's really a way to extend co-sell.
Great, thank you. And we do have a link in the on the screen here. There's actually another office hour tomorrow. So this is the customer office hour. Tomorrow we have a partner-focused office hour to share more about Marketplace Rewards in FY26. And so any partners on the call today, the link is there to tomorrow to the partner office hour. Okay, and then Kristen, if you have that co-sell link.
Yeah, I'm just, of course, I go to it like every day. I think I just found it. Let me just make sure it's right. Okay, here we go. I got it. Let's see. Where can I put it? Where do I put it? Here, I put it in the internal chat if someone can put it out.
Yep. Okay. Okay, I think we'll have a link for that in just a second. It's going to take a second to populate on the screen, but we'll do a last call for any questions. And also just a reminder, this call that you're on today, it will be an always on resource within the Azure community that you can access. And so, we'll be monitoring for any additional questions that come in after today's call. And of course, you can always continue engaging with us on LinkedIn and through the tech community as well. So thank you, everybody. We will just wait for that link to come through and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, and I'll just say I am active on LinkedIn and truly, 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 like always take feedback, or if you've got more questions, like don't hesitate to ping me. Customers, partners alike, like my whole business goal is for you to be successful.
And just to clarify for anybody that missed this at the beginning of the call, our office hour is typically a monthly offering, and so this is a recurring series. Historically, we were on a different platform. And so if you've joined us before, you may have seen this in a slightly different format, but moving forward, we will be plugged into the Azure community. And so great way for us to continue engaging with you through the community as well. And we don't have the next office hour scheduled yet, but I would encourage you to just join the community if you're not a member already, and stay tuned for more updates. And we do have the link there for the co-sell resources, just aka.ms/co-sell marketplace.
Great.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining. And I think with that, we'll go ahead and conclude, but have a great day and hope to see you on the community soon. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye.